Tall Tales and Short Stories presents The Great Peach Cobbler Feud by 11 Goddess. All creations, designs, and music for this channel are from 11 Goddess. The Parker family house was bursting at the seams with laughter, clinking glasses, and the smell of soul food so rich it could make a grown man weep. The long dining table groaned under the weight of fried catfish, smothered pork chops, collard greens slow-cooked with smoked turkey, sweet candied yams, baked mac and cheese with a crispy golden crust, buttered cornbread, and deviled eggs dusted with paprika. Tonight was a grand occasion. The whole family had gathered to celebrate Marcus, Aunt Rochelle's son, on his graduation from Howard University. This was more than a simple dinner. It was a full-fledged reunion. Uncle Charles, the family storyteller, sat at the head of the table, spinning old tales of mischief from his younger years. Cousin Denise, who had just returned from studying abroad in Paris, tried and failed to explain the difference between French pastries and good old-fashioned Southern desserts. Aunt Tanya, the most competitive cook in the family, sat with a knowing smirk, already plotting how to outshine every dish on the table. And then there was Grandma Bertie, the matriarch, seated comfortably in her favorite chair, her wise eyes twinkling as she surveyed her family. That's when the whispers began. Sitting at the far end of the dining room table were two identical glass dishes, each containing a golden brown, cinnamon-dusted, bubbling with goodness peach cobbler. A tension as thick as buttermilk crept into the air. Aunt Rochelle shot a glance at Aunt Tanya. Tanya narrowed her eyes right back. "Wait a minute now," Uncle Charles muttered, rubbing his chin. "Did y'all both make Grandma's peach cobbler?" "I did," Rochelle said proudly, folding her arms. "I did too," Tanya said, tilting her head up with equal confidence. A murmur swept through the family like a hot breeze in August. Two cobblers? Identical? Both claiming to be Grandma Bertie's legendary recipe? The room grew quiet, eyes bouncing from one sister to the other. Determined to settle the matter, Rochelle and Tanya began circling the table, each one nudging family members and whispering in their ears. "You know mine is just like Grandma's, right?" Rochelle prodded Cousin Denise. "You remember how hers had that perfect flaky crust? That's exactly what I made." Tanya leaned over to Uncle Charles, flashing her winning smile. "Now, you know Grandma always used brown sugar for depth of flavor. Mine's the real deal." One by one, they put family members on the spot, forcing nervous laughs and hesitant nods. The tension thickened until all eyes landed on Uncle Charles, the only one who hadn't picked a side. "Well?" Rochelle asked. "Whose tastes like Grandma's?" Charles chuckled and scratched his head. "Now hold on a minute before I go and get myself disowned. Let me ask y'all, what exactly was Grandma's recipe?" Silence fell over the table. Rochelle and Tanya both turned to face each other. "She gave me the recipe," Rochelle insisted. "No, she gave it to me," Tanya shot back. "Wait a second," Rochelle said, narrowing her eyes. "Did she tell you to use white sugar?" "No, she told me brown sugar was the key," Tanya fired back. That was all it took. The sisters exploded into a full-blown argument, voices rising over the clatter of dishes as accusations of sabotage and selective memory flew back and forth. "You always think you're the better cook," Rochelle huffed. "Just admit mine is the closest." "Oh, please." "Grandma would have told you if you were right," Tanya retorted. Their heated bickering grew louder, until Grandma Bertie, who had been quietly enjoying her food, cleared her throat. The sound sliced through the argument like a hot knife through butter. She took her time adjusting her napkin before speaking. "You know, back in my day, family arguments over food weren't just about pride. They were legendary." She paused for effect, scanning the eager faces around the table. "See, back in my younger days, I wasn't always the reigning queen of peach cobbler. Oh no, I had competition. My own cousin Ethel. That woman could bake like nobody's business. We were the best in the family, always trading recipes and trying to outdo each other." The room grew still as Grandma Bertie chuckled to herself. "One summer we both swore up and down that our cobbler was the best. We each made one and let the family judge. Lord have mercy, it nearly split the family in two. Folks were picking sides, arguments got heated, and Ethel and I didn't talk for 2 whole years. She shook her head with a wistful smile. Finally, we laughed it off and admitted we had both put our own twist on the recipe. She liked brown sugar, and I liked white. That was just the way we baked. Grandma Bertie leaned forward, looking at Rochelle and Tanya. And you know what? Even though both were great, they tasted different. Ethel's had a deeper, caramelized sweetness, while mine was a little lighter and let the peaches shine more. Folks loved both, but no one could ever decide which one was better. Sound familiar? The whole family nodded, savoring her words. She continued, "That's why I gave y'all different versions, mine and Ethel's. She's gone now, but I figured this way, both our recipes would live on. Ain't neither one better than the other. They just different." The whole table erupted into howls of laughter as Rochelle and Tanya stared at each other in shock. Then, after a beat, they both burst out laughing too. "Well played, Grandma," Tanya said, raising her fork. "Real slick, Grandma," Rochelle added, shaking her head. Grandma Bertie winked and took another bite. "Y'all should have known better than to think I'd let one of you one-up the other. Now, somebody pass me another slice." The laughter continued as plates were passed, and the family settled in to enjoy both cobblers, savoring not just the taste, but the history in each bite. And that's how the great peach cobbler feud of the Parker family became the most legendary dinner tale of all time. To this day, no one knows which recipe is closer to Grandma's original, but one thing's for sure, both cobblers were made with love, and that's all that really mattered.